Envoy for hostage affairs just announced yet another hostage will be coming home tomorrow. We don't know yet who it is, but we will keep you posted. But now all eyes right this hour on the White House as we await the return of Marc Fogel, the American teacher held hostage in Russia for years, in the Biden years, on false drug trafficking charges. Thanks to President Trump and his special Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff, Fogel was released today, and we expect him any moment to show up at the White House. That's only a matter of minutes away, we are told. Fogel's return, by the way, is just the latest example of Donald Trump's historic first month, and the left, the state-run media mob, frankly, they're not handling it too well. After almost a decade with Trump in the national political spotlight, it is pretty spectacularly stunning that the legacy media is still struggling to cope, even though their ratings continue to decline more and more and more. People don't trust them. Americans are seeking open and honest discussions away from the word police, the smear merchants, the woke mob in the media. And no one knows that, by the way, than the current podcast king himself, Joe Rogan. Take a look.
They're not course correcting at all. You know, they're saying stupid. It's all nonsense. Like their understanding of social media and the dynamics that you set up by having completely state-controlled mainstream media, where they only said the narratives that you guys wanted. They all said it in step. So you could watch different programs repeat the exact same words, exact same phrases. We don't trust the New York Times. We don't trust the Washington Post. We don't trust CNN or any of the MSNBC, but they're all full with propaganda.
Yeah.
And so that's why the internet rose. It's not because there was some sort of a right-wing conspiracy and heavily funded. No, you guys suck. You guys suck. And you're not real people, and you're not, like, nobody wants to hang out with Brian Stelter. You know what I'm saying? None of these people are people that people can actually relate to and like.
I don't think people know who Humpty Dumpty is. And by the way, how's it working out for Norah O'Donnell and Jim Fake News Acosta and Andrea Mitchell and Chucky Todd? Not that well. Anyway, here with reaction, Fox News contributors Miranda Devine, Joe Concha. You know, in many ways, I feel really blessed, Miranda, because new media began with the talk radio revolution. And then Fox took that on HGH and steroids to the next level. And still both remain extraordinarily powerful and relevant today. And then you've got the Rogans and the podcasters and the social media and X, etc. And it's people have too many options. And if you're not a truth teller, you're not going to survive, in my view. Am I wrong on that? In that analysis?
No, you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, people who are trustworthy in the media, that part of the media universe is thriving. It's the propaganda merchants that are shriveling on the vine. And, you know, Joe Rogan is absolutely right. No one trusts them anymore. Their latest sort of unison talking point is constitutional crisis, that Donald Trump's causing a that's the old story. They did it in his first term. They're doing it again. It doesn't work, and they're going nuts because no one is listening to them. They've lost their influence. They've lost the trust of the people. They've lost the room, and they can't handle it.
You know, Joe, all these years I've been doing this, there have been elections that the candidate of my choice didn't win. And you know what? I didn't go out there and start singing. I didn't start saying F them, F them. I didn't go out there and say we're the resistance, a constitutional crisis. No, you know what? I pointed out their flaws and fought for better ideas. And in the end, the American people always come back to where the right place is. And I believe that happened here. But in the process during this election cycle, I have declared legacy media is done. Am I wrong?
It is done, Sean, because the numbers back that up. And look, the place that everybody came back to during this election wasn't conservatism necessarily. It wasn't anything in terms of republicanism. It was common sense. Common sense is what guides so many people in this word and logic. And that's what they want from their media. That's what they want from their leaders. It's quite simple. And right now, there is literally zero distance between the insanity heard on MSNBC, CNN, shows like Colbert, or the editorial pages of the New York Times and the Washington Post, and the Democratic Party. They seem to be taking their cues from those places. And it seems that most of the party has decided that moving harder to the left after the election is the way to win voters back. I mean, this week alone, the Democratic Party has shown it's currently three things, and none of them ain't good. Patently unhinged, hopelessly disorganized, utterly tone deaf when it comes to what people are demanding from their elected leaders. Fox News voter analysis, listen to this. This was after the 2024 election, shows that 83% of Americans are demanding wholesale changes to the way government operates. And yet, what do we see from Democrats on a daily basis during these rallies when the theme is what? To protect the status quo in Washington? They don't realize it, Sean, but they're coming down on the 10 side of almost every 90-10 issue. I mean, go ask 100 people on the street right now. Do you support a full audit of government agencies in an effort to slash wasteful, stupid, and even corrupt spending? 90% will say yes, while the other 10% is drunk. Singing, screaming, and yelling, that's what Democrats are doing at these rallies. Volume is not a strategy. Emotion is not a policy. These aren't protests. It's a public therapy session. And if you're in the Trump administration right now, you want to see these rallies every day. You want more Maxine Waters, more Elizabeth Warren, more Chuck Schumer, and more members of the squad, many more, because if they just keep doing this, they will drive away every possible last independent swing state voter and will never win a national election again unless they pivot back to the center, much like Bill Clinton did before the 1996 election, in working with your guest before, Newt Gingrich, and actually doing common sense things.
You know, we pride ourselves on this show of getting everything right, everything from Russia, and FISA abuse, and the double standard in our justice system with top secret classified information, or the weaponization. But we also got other cases, right, starting with Richard Jewell and UVA and Duke Lacrosse and Ferguson, Missouri, and Freddie Gray in Baltimore, and so many other instances, Miranda, and all their attacks against Donald Trump. You just spent a full day with Donald Trump. You were on Air Force One. You went to the White House. What was that like?
It was fantastic, and look, just such a whirlwind. I joked to someone
He
the
never
other day
invited me
that
on Air Force One. Joe, did he ever invite you? He didn't invite me.
I got the Trump plane when I was covering the campaign, where they served Wendy's, which was nice,
Trump
but I know I
Force
never
One.
got Air Force One. No.
It's got something,
Trump
rather.
Force One, yes, which is very luxurious as well. Both fantastic plans. And look, he is so energetic, and there's just so much going on with him. It's hard for everyone to keep up, and he has got such a young staff around him. People like Carolyn Levitt, 27, the youngest press secretary in history. You just look at Pete Hegseth and J.D. Vance. I mean, this is a new generation is in power in Washington. Elon Musk with all his 18 to 25-year-old high IQ whiz kids. And there's Donald Trump with more energy than all of them put together. He's just incredible. He goes from 6 in the morning until midnight. He has 5 hours sleep, and he wakes up, he told me, every morning thinking just of business, political business.
Well, we appreciate both of you, and keep up the good work. By the way, Joe has a book coming out pretty soon. We'll tell you about that in an upcoming appearance. All right, when we come back, Donald Trump is keeping his campaign promise to obliterate woke policies without the latest. We'll get reaction from the one and only Sage Steele, and we are monitoring the White House at this hour, where freed American hostage Mark Fogel is expected to meet with President Trump. We'll take you there live as it happens. And we also have just learned at Fox News another American hostage is set to be released tomorrow. They've not given us details, but as that develops, we'll bring anything new straight ahead.